He says, I went to prison for kidnapping. But when you type his name in, add the word crime, here's what you get. Public records of him. Jason Bree Shears, Texas prisoner number 635072, is serving a 30-year sentence for aggravated assault with a weapon. So he did not go to prison for kidnapping. He just said he's been to solitary confinement more times than he can count. Do you know why? Because he was serving a 30-year sentence for aggravated sexual assault with a weapon. And sex offenders don't do well in the general population. He talks about here at this part that he had bad influence friend named Joey. So him and Joey went to Houston, okay, to meet his mom. Check this out. It was scripted because you're in a scripted reality. It's not, he didn't choose to make the decision. It's scripted. Listen close. Joey pulled out the pistol. John did that. It was just Joey. Who's John? Joey, earlier in the story, it was Joey. And now, at 34:05 of the story, now Joey is John. Listen close. In less than 4 or 5 minutes. My whole life was scripted, he says, in less than 4 or 5. It wasn't scripted, dude. You made a conscious decision. You made a choice. You committed. I don't have the police report. I don't know what happened. Something happened. That's bad. Something bad happened. Because, brother, you got 30 years. You don't even get 30 years for a murder. What happened, Jason? Are you a predator, Jason? Are you a predator? Now he's Joey again. It was just John. It was Joey and then John, now Joey. He said, man, I'm hungry from all this I've been doing. Go get us some rotisserie dogs, Joey. Joey? Dallas, Fort Worth, he said. Well, just a minute ago in the story, you said you were going to Haltom City. And now he says they're going to Dallas, Fort Worth. Which one is it? Because here's Dallas over here. Legend in the chat says there's 2 sides to every story. There's 2 or 3 sides to this guy's one story here. And in 5-10 minute story, there's a couple sides. The only police station that he knew was in Haltom City here. So he had to, whether or not he was going to Dallas or not. Earlier in the story, he said he was about an hour when that happened, when he dropped him off for the hot dogs. He said we're an hour north of Huntsville. That's what he said. Let's say approximately right here, 60 miles north of Huntsville or so. So from Huntsville to Haltom's about 3 hours. So let's say he's about 2 hours away from Haltom City. So why didn't he just drop the girl off anywhere for 2 hours? Oh, because he says the only police station I knew was in Haltom City. Like, you couldn't have found somewhere else to drop her off. You couldn't have dropped her off at a hospital or anywhere. You know, I'm sure that when this 2 hour drive, you drove by somewhere you could have made sure she got away safe. Legend says, why would he post this? It just makes him look worse. 100%. Before I even found the discrepancies of the story, that's what I was wondering, is like, why would he even tell this story? But it's because his information is public, and when you look it up, you can see he has these charges. So he has to get ahead of it, and people are looking him up. If you remember at the beginning of the story, he said that people contact him and say, man, I can't believe you. Why would you do this or something? And it was 30 years ago. It's scripted, bro. You were the victim, and then you made the most of the situation, and you became a hero. The reality is, script made you do it, but you salvaged the situation and saved her life. Now it's John again. Did you catch that? It was Joey. He went back to Joey, and now it's John again. So it was Joey the whole time. He slipped up, said John once, went back to Joey, and now it's John again. His claim is that he was going to be out at 24, and he was 17. So let's say that 6 or 7 years approximately is what he got. What is the penalty for aggravated sexual assault conviction in Texas? Aggravated sexual assault is a first-degree felony in Texas. There is also an enhancement that applies, raising the minimum prison term to 25 years if a deadly weapon was used, serious bodily injury occurred, human trafficking was threatened. You don't even have to traffic someone if you just threaten it, or other similar conduct. So it says that's the enhancement. It says there is an enhancement that applies, and it's a minimum prison term of 25 years if, and he meets the criteria, if his story is to be believed, he has a deadly weapon. So his assertion that he was going to be out when he was 24 years old can't be true. He was looking at a minimum of 25 years. 30-year sentence is what he's serving time for. So that meets the minimum of 25 years. He got a little more, 30. And when you listen to him talk on his talk about his experience with prison, on his channel, he says he served 26 years. So from the time he was 17 until 6 years ago, whatever that was, 43 or something. Listen, bro, once a predator, always a predator. In my opinion, there might be people out there that believe predators can be rehabilitated, and it's also possible that somehow you got hemmed up in this. If this assault happened, you could have jumped out of the car. You could have stopped it. There's a lot of things you could have done. So without a police report, I don't know what happened. But you got 30 years. So something happened. Think about that. You don't get 30 years even for a murder. He says he's not going to cease his message because someone has a problem with the messenger. And he says, do you see how weird that is? And I would say no. Because if the messenger is corrupt, then the message will be corrupt. Yeah, that's called personal responsibility. You got to own it, bro. It wasn't scripted. Your life wasn't scripted at that moment. You made a conscious decision to participate in it, in the amount, whether it was a large participation or just even being there and not doing anything to stop it. Let's say he didn't let's say he didn't lay a finger on that girl, and if there was some crazy going on in the back seat, and he says he got way less time than John or Joey, whatever he calls him, then he was put in that situation to prevent that from happening, and he should have. He just literally said his argument was, no, you. There's not a problem with me. There's a problem with you because you can't accept me being a convicted predator. That's not an ad hominem attack when it's true, and the basis of the argument is that you've caught him in a lie on the record. You shouldn't have strayed too far from your script, bro. You just got caught slipping. You're slipping. The comments call him like the smartest man, a savant, a dynamo, they say. He can't even keep his story straight. You revealed too much. This guy's problem is he talks too much, and he's gonna get caught slipping because he can't keep his story straight. Males are many, but men are few. Only real men do what I did.